Ois Gimel. V'hinei lahavin inyan halachet. To understand the idea of lechem. The idea of lechem, the bread, we're saying, provides the support for the person, even though it comes from a lower level than the level of yayin. He wants to bring out that sometimes we find that in order to support a lower level, you have to come from a higher level. Because you come from a higher level, that is why you can come down to the lower level. To understand the idea of bread, we see Talechem davke yisad levav enish yoser mehayayin. That is the bread specifically that will support the heart of man more than wine does chulu. So we see the concept. Yayin has the taste, and yayin is sweet, and yet lechem is what supports the heart of man. And vegan kan mevur. Also over here we explained that the root of the lechem comes from chokhmah, which is higher than wine, which is ema, which is bina. So you see that the higher, that what seems to be coming down to a lower level comes from a higher level. So it says, "V'yuvon alpi mashekosu b'geres hakodesh b'tchilosei." We'll understand it based on what is written in the beginning of Geras HaKodesh, al the posik, chogro be'oiz mosneho. Posik in Mishlei, that she girded with strength her loins. So over there, he teaches over there, the strength that you give to the loins, to the mosnayim, the chagura, the belt, that gives the strength to the Mosnayim, ein ois elo Torah. The strength, the force, the power is Torah. Shehi neisenes koyach va'ois lebchinas Mosnayim chulu. That is what gives the power and the strength to the level of Mosnayim chulu ayin sham. V'hinei ha-Mosnayim the Mosnayim, it gives power to the Mosnayim, that's the Netzach V'Hoid. Shenikroim Trein Shoikin. They're the Mosnayim, they're called the two thighs, those are the two Mosnayim. Ubimekoim ha-Mosnayim bifnim Shom ha-Heim ha-Kloyis. Inside of the hips, inside of the Mosnayim, over there are the kidneys. Shenetzach v'hoid nikroim gamkein kloyes yoyetzes. They're also referred to as kidneys that advise. The externally, those are the trein shoikim, these are the mesnaim. But internally, those are the kidneys that advise. And it's explained in Eitz Chaim, shenetzach hoid yisoid chadoshim nimshochim mehakeser. That the new level, the new netzach hoid yisoid, that are nimshach in Atzilus, the new ones, they come from Keser. He quotes now from B'Pri Eitz Chaim, Shara Amida, Perik Yudalet, Isa v'zelu shoyne, Arich Anpin, Shehu HaKeser, Arich Anpin, which is Keser, Hanikra Keil Elyon, Shehu HaGoimel Chasodim. Keil Elyon, Goimel Chasodim Tovim, the davening that we say in the brach in the beginning, he's a Goimel Chasodim Shehem, Netzach Hoid Yisoid is Eid Ampin. That's Netzach Hoid Yisoid of Zo, Zeid Ampin of Zo of Atzilus, Hamoitzi Oisom, B'soy Toisves Mechodosh. He brings them out. They come out in the idea that secret of additional, a new Toisefes, Adkan L'shoined, so that you see that from Keser comes a new Nehi, a new Netzach Hoid Yisoid that come from Keser. Ayin b'Pirush HaRamaz b'Parshas Bereishis Tav Ches Reish Amud Aleph Gabei l'chol Oiseya Ma shekosu b'Shem Sefer HaLikudim b'Drush Netzach Hoid Yisoid HaChadosh V'chulu. So look at that. B'Zeu Chogra b'Oiz Mosneo. And this is the idea that she girded with strength her loins. Oiz Hainu HaToira Sheshorsho mehakeser. Ois, that is Torah, which is rooted in Keser. Mimeno nimshach hakoyach v'ois lebchinas mosnayim. From it, from the Torah, which is Keser, there comes from the power and the strength lebchinas mosnayim shem netzach v'hoi, to the level of mosnayim, which is netzach v'hoid. That's the meaning of chagra ba'oiz mosneo. That is the oiz mosneo. Well, inyan hu k'moy al derech moshul she'anu royim. The Rebbe is going to give now a moshul to explain that for things to come down lower, they have to come from a higher place. We see a Chacham Gadol sometimes cannot explain what he understands for himself. It takes a bigger Chacham to be able to also relate and give over that which he understands in his seichel to the seichel of the recipient. So you see that in order to go down lower, it has to come higher. It has to be a bigger seichel. For example, we see sheyesh odom, there is a person even though he understands, he grasps the idea. He is not able to teach it to somebody else. He understands it by himself. But he's not able to give the flow and to give it and to have others understand. He can't give it over to others. The reason is because he's not such a great bar seichel, and therefore so using the expression, it's sufficient for him to fulfill for himself, meaning it's enough for this person that he can understand himself. He is not able to give advice by himself how to give to others. Like it says in the Geras HaKodesh, in the opening that opens with Lahav Moshul Melitza, Shekedei lahashpia, that in order to give, to be mashpia, to somebody else, tzorich liyisyayitz eich lahashpia b'derech sheyuchal hamekabel lekabel ha'ashpot. You have to figure out how to give the flow in such a way that the recipient should be able to receive the hashpah, the flow. If he's just going to say it as it is in his mind, so the child who is still small will not be able to understand and receive it. So how is he going to pass along, give him the idea? He has to organize it in an organized way, and the subject, subseder v'inyan, achar, is that the word achar or echad? What's the word here?
Yes, achar.
Achar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. V'inyan achar. Dover alefan, dover dibur alefanov ma'at. Every item, little bit by little bit. Ubchinas eitzazu nikra netzach v'hoit shem klois yoitzos. This level is called netzach v'hoit. That level of being able to control the flow and to limit it and to give it in a way so that the recipient should be able to receive. Those are netzach v'hoit shem klois yoitzos, which are the kidneys that advise the person. There's another function of netzach v'hoid. V'gam netzach v'hoid nikra shechokim v'rechayim. Grinders and mills. It said sheshoichakim mon litzadikim. The various different levels of the skies, we hold them. One of them is called shechokim because it says they grind the mon litzadikim. What does that mean? Someone like is grinding in a mill. So what does he do? He splits the wheat to very thin pieces. The father needs to diminish, make that seichel small, and the idea that he wants to give to his son, and to split it into many pieces. Ma'at, to give it to, say it to him a little bit at a time, with consultation and knowledge, just to give it in a way in order to be able to receive it. And that's the grinder also. That's the netzach v'hoid, they grind it, they take it apart. As old this written in the Geras HaKodesh there. Therefore, somebody who is not a great seichel, he cannot give consultation how to give the flow. And therefore, even though he understands the seichel by himself, he is not able to give over the flow to somebody else. It is only the one who is a great intellect who sheyochel lahashpia. Only he can give the flow. Kemachmas goydel sichloi ve'amchus daitoi, because of the great intellect and the depth of his mind, yuchal liyisyayitz, he has the ability to consult, to counsel eich lahashpia, how to give. Even to the son who's a mile. Nimtza. So it turns out that Eitza Zu, Shebichinas Netzach V'Hoid, this Eitza, this counseling, which is the level of Netzach and Hoid, the root of it is Tafke from the great Seichel, from the greatness of Seichel, which is higher than the Seichel that is Mashpia. He could have this Seichel without being able to give it over. But in order to be able to give it over, he has to go to a higher level, to the greater Seichel, which is higher than the Seichel itself that he gives. Lochein, and that's why Yesha Masiga Seichel V'afal Pikein Ena Yochel Lashpia. So there could be a situation where he is able to grasp the Seichel, it cannot be Mashpia. Why? Because he's limited to the level of Seichel. He can't go higher than the Seichel to get to the level of Netzach V'Hoid that help you lower that Seichel and consult you how to bring it down to a lower level. And likewise, we will understand this example the way it's above. He quoted from the Eitz Chaim before that Netzach Hoid Yisoid HaChadoshim, the new Netzach Hoid Yisoid, says they come from Keser, Mishachim HaKeser. They are Zeir Ampin of Atzilus. So we're not saying that they come from Chochma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes. No, we're saying they come from Keser. They come from the higher level. V'ayin mashikosu b'zegamkin b'biur al posik elamase. Ki hinei elameis biyah heim bale gvul v'tachlis. The worlds of Bri, Tzira, Sira, Asiya, they are limited and finite. Ve'einan aroich klal la'atzilus sheboi melubash oinin sobaruch. And there are no comparison at all to Atzilus, in which it's dressed up the blessed light of the Ein Sof. Lochein. Kidei liyos hashpa ha'oir. Liyos hashpa ha'oir v'achayis ma'atzilus libya. In order for it to be the flow of the oir and the chayis from Atzilus to Biyah, Zehu al yidei netzach v'hoid shenikra moiznei tzedek. That is through netzach v'hoid. They are called moiznei tzedek, scales of justice. Netzach v'hoid are the scales, are the moznayim of justice to bring down. Sheshoiklim, they weigh eich how v'kamon, how much yeh ha'ashpoah mibchinas tzedek. How much hashpah should there come? Moiznei tzedek from tzedek, which is malchus da'atzilus. Hamachaya biyah, which vitalizes biyah. They are the scales, say how much. Bezehu inyan kloyes yoyitzos. This is also the idea of the kloyes, that we say the kidneys are consulting, which means they are the ones that the netzach v'hoid that help determine how much hashpah. Ulekach gam nevuas Moshe hoyorak mibchinas netzach v'hoid, and that's why it would also only from the level of netzach v'hoid, because this is like a limited kind of revelation. It's a scaled, it's a measure. Harizal b'shara nevuah perik aleph, u'kamoshe kosuv b'yigeres hakodesh v'dibra maschel oir oita oir, shelemaylo minetzach v'hoid ein shum hasogel novi v'choizer. Higher than netzach v'hoid, over there is no grasping to a prophet or a visionary. You can't see beyond netzach v'hoid. because that's already the scale, that's already the measure how it should come down. Belochein his havus nihi chadoshim. So therefore, the creation of this new level of nihi, what the Eitz Chaim talks about to bring about netzach hod yisod chadoshim, shehem bechinas eitzo hanal eich lahashpia lemoker debiyah. They are the consultation, they are the advice, the counsel, how to give the flow to the source of Biyah, to Malchus, which comes down to Biyah. Nimshach davke mebchinas hakeser. That comes from the level of keser. Al derech, this is similar to the idea, hamagbi lo shoves, hamashpili lirois bashamayim uvaretz. The one who sits so high up, magbihi lo shoves, he goes high up. Davke hamashpili lirois bashamayim uvaretz, he can lower himself to see in the Shemayim Voretz. The hapirush, what does it mean? Because he is very high. Magbihi lo shoves. Al kein Shemayim Voretz Milo Mato Shavim Lefonov. That's why he's so much higher, so that the heavens and the earth, which is top and bottom, are equal before him. Velochein mashpili lirois afilu ba'oretz k'mei b'shamayim chulu, and that's why he can lower himself to see even in the earth, just like he sees in the heavens, because he's much higher than both of them. So in order to go down lower, he needs to be from a higher place. Al posik, on the verse, it says, Hashem Elokai ato arei mimcha. You, my God, you I will exalt. Oida shmecha, I will thank your name. Kyosiso, Pella, well, you have done wonders. Eitzois meirochik, advice that come from a distance. Amuna oimen, leading and training in a faithful way, as in Yeshaya Simcha. So what does the Zohar say on the Pasuk, Eitzos Merochik? What does it mean the Eitzos come from a distance? It says, Manin who? Who are these Eitzos Merochik? Manin who are they? So he says, Inun Plein Bade Arovis. Those are the two stems of Arovis that we take with the lulav. We have the two Arovis, which is the Chol Ito the Nevi'im, all of the prophecy of the Nevi'im, Mitamon Asya, come from there. Inun Ikron, those are called Eitzis Merochik, advice from afar. This is the Lashon of the Zohar. So what does he mean to say? That the level of netzach v'hoid, which are called eitzis, they get that koyach, they get it from a distance. They get it from chokhmah and keser. As the pasuk says, I said I will get chokhmah, but it's a distance. So we see that chokhmah is a distance. And about this it also says ki osiso pele in the pasuk. Osiso pele shenimshach mebchinas plois, that it comes from the level of wonders. This is wisdom which is higher than the understandable, than the graspable seichel. And this is the meaning of Pella Yoyetz. The console is Pella because it comes from the level of Pella, from the level of Keser Einshel. Inyan Chogra Be'oiz. This is that she girds its dafke with strength, with ois, mosneo kinal. That is the level of Torah, which comes from the level of Chochmah and Keser that gives the support to the Mosnai. That is the advantage and the step of the level in Torah, Mashenikro Lechem. That's called Lechem Shu Benetzach V'Hoid. That is in the level in Hoid. B'zeu Mashekosu B'Zoyhar. Parshas Pinchas, Daf Reish Yud Zayin Amud Beis. Hahu Lechem Da'azilu Shechokim V'Tachanin Mono Lemeichlo Tzadikayo Chulu. That is the bread that the Shechokim go and they grind it. The mills, they go and they grind the mono, the mon, to be eaten, lemechlo, the tzadikai, for the food of tzadikim. Ukemeshikosu le'il, al derech moshul, like we said before, by way of example, shemefarer hachito lachalokim dakim me'oid. What does the grinder do? What does the shchokim, the toichen, what does it do? They take the wheat and they split it up to very thin pieces. Kach nimshechu oishes hatoira lemato. So likewise, that's what happens with the Torah. The Torah was grinded down, just like there's little pieces of wheat in small pieces. The Torah was grounded down in the letters lemato ad shekol adam yuchol lekabel to the chulu, that every person is able to receive it. V'chein his chalkus halachas Torah shabal peh. The same thing is the splitting up of the oral Torah in all of its detail. V'im kein, and if so, av shenishpa lemato mibchinas yayin. V'ein by metam mesikas, even though that it was lowered to below the level of yayin, and there is no sweetness there. And that's what we also called them before. He says that they are like the stems of the aroves, of the willows. Shein bem tam. They have no reason. So, notwithstanding the fact that they are on a lower level, there's no yayin, there's no taste over there. They're like aroves. And yet their root is higher. The Hainu Mibchinas Chochma v'Hakeser Kinal. They are from the level of Chochma and Keser. V'zeu Eitzis Merochik, and that means the posik that he quoted from Yeshaya, counsel from a distance. It comes from the level of Chochma and Keser. Ukemoi Sha'omar Shlomo Melech HaOlam V'Sholem, but Shlomo said, V'hi Rechoika Mimeni. That is Chochma is Rechoika Mimeni, because Shorsha Miseichel Hanela Mikol Rayin. The root is from the hidden Seichel, which is hidden from any ability to be able to grasp an Enokol Rayin. V'nikra Pela Chulu. And that's called the level of Pela. Umishom Nimshach Chabechinas Netzach V'Hoid. And from there, extend in the level bechinas netzach v'hois liyos bechinas lechem, to be the level of bread, which is chita, which is the bread made out of wheat. Al yidei shemefarer hachita lachalokim dakim kenal, by grinding it down to small pieces. That is how it transfers below to the lower levels by grinding it down. Further in the pasuk of Mishli, it says that she brings her bread from a distance. Like it says in the Zohar in Parshas Tzav, Daf Lamed Hey Omid Beis. Over there it says Shebechinas Lechem, and what he wants to say there is Shebechinas Lechem Shorshei B'mokom Gavoya Ma'od. That's rooted from a very high place. The Hainu Mibchinas Sheirichoika Megeder Hishtalshalus, from a place which is far away from the definition and the boundaries of Ishtalshlus. That's why this bread, that's why it will support the heart of Enish, because of its high source, that it comes down even to the level of the Levav Enish that you said. Gamkin Inyan Haluchas. With this, we also understand the idea of the Luchas. The Hine Mevur b'Mokem Achar al Posik in Bechukoisai Teilechu. It's that which is written on the Posik Bechukoisai Teilechu. So it says K'meishuk b'Mashe Kosuv Chorus al Haluchas, that is engraved on the Luchas Asher Nechkak Mehem Ubohem, that has been engraved from them and in them. We know that's the engravement on the luchas. It was engraved from them and in them, the physical luchas. So he says shezahu inyan in the. It said this idea of golif gilufa b'tihiru ilo. Golif gilufa b'tihiru ilo. That is the level of higher than ishtalshalus, in which in the Tihiru ilo there's golif gilufa. That's the chakika. Vayne b'chinas keser ein shom barichas. Look at the arichas. V'gam lochein yesh tof reish chof oisius be'atzeres hadibres. That's why we have the level of keser inside the 10 adibres. That's in Torah. You see that that's the level of keser within the Torah. That's why there's 620 letters in the Aseres Adibris. In the parties, Nerka Kenoyim, Kosav Shaluchis, Hem Netzach Vahid. Of there's a Luchs Netzach Vahid. V'chein Kosav Beitzres Chaim, Daf Pehei. Ubeitz Chaim, Shar Lamed Zayin Perigvov. So how could we say that it's keser, and over there we say it's netzach v'hoid? But now, based on what we explained before, that the root osu shapir, that comes out okay. You understand? V'hainu al derech mashakosu b'priyetz chaim that he quoted before, similar what the Priyetz Chaim says b'pirush when it touches kale elyon, which is keser, goimel chasodim toivim netzach v'hoid. That is the netzach v'hoid, the abba, ukenal, that it's mashpia from the level of keser elyon. That is the goimel chasodim toivim netzach v'hoid, the abba, ukenal. V'ayin mashekosuv me'inyan oishis ha'toiro b'dibur ha'maschil ner chanukah chulum bezuzo mimin chulum. V'zehu b'chinas lechem. This is the level of lechem. Also b'dibur ha'maschil. Usvartem lechem gabi chito. Over there it talks about chito, gabi chito, which is the chov beis atvan de eraisa sheshorshon moisios ha'chakiko. That's Kamchula Einshov. So basically, it means that it comes from the higher level, it comes from Keser. And that's why the contradiction that on one hand we say that Torah is the level of Keser, and then we say it's also the two Luchas are the level of Netzach V'Hoid, because he says the Hamshocha, or he said before, the new Keser, the Netzach V'Hoid Yisoid comes from the level of Keser. That's the Pella, as the Alter Rebbe explained over here,